All right, so checking out these next few examples, it says use a calculator to solve the equation for theta, round to the nearest tenth. So we have the cosine of theta equals 0.4, and then we have this degree restriction. So that degree restriction is telling us that theta, my angle, is between 270 and 360 degrees. So if I sketch out where that is, between 270 and 360 means that my angle is in quadrant 4 here. So when I type this into my calculator, what I'm going to type in is inverse cosine of 0.4. And when I do that, my calculator is going to give me the reference angle. So when I type that in, I'm going to get 66.4 degrees. What? There we go, 66.4 degrees. Now, 66.4 degrees is in quadrant 1, not quadrant 4. I need the angle that's in quadrant 4. So what I have to do is I have to find the angle that's in quadrant 4 that has a reference angle of 66.4 degrees. So if we go back to how we find reference angles, what we're going to do is we're going to take 360 minus that 66.4, and that's going to give me 293.6 degrees. So 293.6 degrees is definitely here in quadrant 4. If you wanted to check yourself, you could type into your calculator the cosine of 293.6, and you're going to see that you're going to come very, very, very close to 0.4. So looking at the next one, tangent of theta equals 4.7, and then we have the angle range has theta between 180 and 270 degrees. So if we sketch where that is, 180 to 270 degrees means that that's going to be in quadrant 3. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find that reference angle. So type into our calculator the inverse tangent of 4.7. And when I do that, my calculator is going to give me 78.0. So rounding to the nearest tenth, you're going to want to make sure you put that 0.0 so everybody knows that that's a rounded value. So now, since it's in this quadrant 3, we need to find the angle that has a reference angle of 78 degrees. So we need an angle in quadrant 3 that's 78 degrees past 180. So the way we're going to do that is by taking 180 plus 78.0. And when we do that, we're going to get that the angle is 258.0. So again, you could totally check yourself by typing into your calculator the tangent of 258.0, and you should get that it's about 4.7. It's going to be super close to that. And the last one in this example is sine of theta equals 0.79, and then theta has to be between 0 and 90. So between 0 and 90 means that we're looking in this quadrant 1, 0, and 90 degrees. So this is actually super nice because when we type this inverse sine into our calculator of 0.79, it's going to give me my reference angle. My reference angle is going to be in that range from 0 to 90. So when I type that in, I get that 52.2 degrees. I don't have to do anything because 52.2 degrees is already in quadrant 1. There's a few rare cases when your calculator will give you a value that's not between 0 and 90, and that's when cosine's negative. You're going to treat it the exact same way that we've done all of the other examples. Let's actually check out one of those examples. Just write this down somewhere. Okay, so let's say we have cosine of theta equals negative 0.87, and we're looking at that interval range from 180 to 270 degrees. So my angle is going to be between 180 and 270, which is going to be in this third quadrant. Now notice that this is the first example we've had where we had a negative value. Well, all that means is if you think about the ordered pairs from section 3, well, this is negative, negative. My cosine value is negative in the third quadrant, which is why this value has to be negative. So if we go ahead and type into our calculator inverse cosine of negative 0.87, we're going to get 150.5 degrees. So 150.5 degrees is actually in quadrant 2. And I just told you that you're usually going to get reference angles that are in quadrant 1. Well, we're not getting that here because since this is negative, in quadrant 1, cosine is actually positive. So in quadrant 2 here, cosine is negative. So it's giving me that value there. That has to do with the domain. We'll get more into that when we're graphing, but I want you to see how to deal with this. So if we have this angle, 150 degrees, that's going to be over here in quadrant 2. What we're really looking for is the reference angle. So how far away is this 150.5 from 180? What's that degree distance? Well, if you take 180 minus 150.5, you're going to get 29.5. So that's our reference angle. So this right here, this piece right here, represents 29.5 degrees from the x-axis. So since I need an angle that's in this third quadrant down here, I also need that angle to be 29.5 degrees past 180. So to find what my answer is, I'm going to take that 180 and I'm going to add to it 29.5. So that's going to give me 209.5 degrees. So now if you wanted to check yourself, you could go ahead and just take the cosine of 209.5 in your calculator, and you're going to see that we get negative 0.87, etc. So it's very close.